things have changed a bit. Since last video, I think the last video was me finishing taking apart the engine. I think I got a haircut for one, I also got braces. But as far as the car goes, which is what people actually care about, I'm getting a new engine. After looking at the engine, trying to figure stuff out, emailing people, I decided it wasn't really worth trying to put together the old one and get it working again, and to just go with a new one. That's going to be coming in about 2 weeks, and I need to get this thing ready to take the new engine. So it's current state. Engine is out. That was last video. Transmission is still there. Yeah, pretty much all that I've done to this car is take the engine out, and because this was flooded and stuff like that, there's a number of things I have to do before it's ready for the new engine. Here's my big list of to do and possibly future stuff. Right now, what I'm gonna do is, I don't know if I have it on here, but since most new engines come with the 6-speed manual, I need to drop the old trans out, maybe sell it off, get rid of it somehow. Gear oil, I need to check the rear diff, see if the oil in there is still good. I think for now that's about it, so I'm going to get to work on the transmission.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul, I'll be there. Never leaving you in the darkness, even when you're out of focus. I will be the light in your life, you'll see it clear. I'll be your inspiration, 'cause I know that you'll do just what you're told. I'll be your heart and temptation, 'cause I know that you'll make it on your own.
Got the transmission out. As soon as we started pulling the drive shaft out, it just started pouring water, so that's fine. I'm getting a new transmission anyway. I'd probably, just because this one was flooded and I haven't taken apart a transmission yet, I think I'm going to try and take this one apart. I might even try and do it in my dorm room. We'll see. But for now, I need to head back to U of M soon. Before I do that, I need to check 2 or 3 things. First thing is this shield needs to come off. Once that shield is off, I can get to the drive shaft, unbolt the drive shaft, drop that down, and finally I need to drain the differential, make sure that the differential is not full of water. And then once that's all done, next time I'll be working on this is when the engine is actually here and it'll be going in. So it should be fun stuff. I heard pressure release. The oil looks pretty clean, which is good. Yeah, there's no water in there, so differential's good. Yeah, that's water. Well, it's here. New engine. I unwrapped it, got all of the cables and everything off, tying it down, but haven't done anything besides that. Before it goes in, a few things I need to do. While it's still out of the engine bay, I want to do fluids. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the transmission fluid I want to use, so that's going to have to be while it's in the car. But engine oil I have, so I'm going to do that. I also need to swap out this header, swap this exhaust or O2 sensor to the Racing Beat header because I don't trust that old one. I have these lightweight pulleys which are going to go on instead here, and I also got new belts so I don't have to do that while it's in the car. So I'm going to get it up on an engine stand, or up on the engine hoist, give it a look over, make sure everything's good. So far everything looks fine, and then get to changing stuff out. Overall, pretty clean. One thing I didn't know, it looks like they actually plasma cut the headers, if you can see there. A few scratches on the heat shielding, that's fine. Everything else seems to be in pretty good condition. Nothing broken, nothing clogged. I'm going to pull a leading spark plug and take a look at what I can see in there. Spark plug is all nice and clean, and don't really see any issues inside the motor, I don't think. Old starter, new starter. Next thing I'm going to attempt to do is swap the headers. I don't know that I can actually get the header off without taking this mount off. Yeah, I'm going to try dropping the engine down, pulling the mount off, pulling the header off, putting a new header on. I want to just throw this header on right away, but considering the state of this oxygen sensor, I really want to pull that oxygen sensor out, and knowing oxygen sensors, it's probably going to be a bitch. Maybe that one too. So I'm going to take these over to the basement and use a torch, pop them loose. Well, this is great. Tried to pull the oxygen sensor out, and it actually snapped the metal where it's supposed to thread in. I'm going to attempt to get this thing out one way or another. So I'm going to try taking the blowtorch, heating it up, and breaking it loose with either the screw extractor, which I don't want to use because it might break stuff, or the vice grips, I believe they're called. I always confuse these and channel locks. Yes, these are vice grips. So heat it up, just go like that, and attempt to take it out. Let's see how it goes. There it is. I went and got a thread chaser for oxygen sensors, so I'm going to do that now because from last night these threads are kind of nasty. Then I can throw the newer oxygen sensor in. I also clean that up a bit. And then that should be the last thing before I start trying to put the engine in.
Nope.
Everything on the engine is hooked up, should be ready to go. Got all the hoses on. It's all connected. Wires, all that stuff should just be plug and play from here on. The last thing I have to do before I go ahead with putting the engine in is siphon off the gas. I don't know how long the gas has been in there. I don't know if water got into the gas or anything. So just to be safe, I'm going to try and drain all of it and then put new gas in. I have piping. I just need a bucket or something, and then I'm going to go ahead with draining. I spent a lot of time last night trying to get siphoning, fuel pump to go, all that stuff. Nothing ended up working. It was up until like 2 AM trying to get this. So I'm just going to leave that for now. Say screw it. Start trying to put the engine in. Hopefully once the engine goes in, the fuel pump will work. I can drain the gas tank that way.
Poof!
It's in. I didn't record anything. It was a long and hard process getting in through the top, but I didn't have to take any of the belts off, didn't have to do anything. It's in there. Now I need to get the engine mounts on, plug everything in, and then pray that the fuel pump works. Because if the fuel pump works, it'll make my life a whole lot easier. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be very sad.
Poof.
Fuel pump works. Some issue with wiring. I was about to go to sleep, but I had the idea to try one more thing. So I took a voltmeter, hooked it up to the two power wires that, whatever, they go to that, and it should be 12 volts. It briefly gave me like 2 volts and then dropped down to 0. So it's some kind of wiring issue somewhere in the car, and then I want to see, you know, maybe it's a little pump, maybe there's some issue there. I took a 12 volt battery, smaller one, and these two wires, jumped it directly to the power contacts on the fuel pump, and it works. Fuck. I get signs of life, and it starts pouring gas out under the hood. Oh, it sprayed gas all over here. Fuck, I didn't think it would spray that far. But the fuel line is right there. I thought it was just dribbling out. It actually sprayed gas all over everything. That's not good. But I'm not trying to start the car tonight, so it's alright. I can leave it to dry. I am going to hook up a hose line thing to that fuel line, drain it into this tub, and we'll go from there. Well, I was draining the fuel. Got a fair amount out. There's a lot of water in there. But while draining, or while using the pump, I heard a loud bang from inside the gas pump or inside the gas tank and everything. Like, this whole thing kind of jumped, so I'm kind of scared of it now. I think pretty safe to say I need to drop the whole fuel tank, drain everything out, clean everything out. That may have just been like a stuck check valve or something. I'm gonna try and open the fuel door, just like make sure it's not a vacuum in there or anything, but alright, so definitely some kind of check valve issue, because this is not venting. That's what that big pressure relief that I heard was. So yeah, fuel tank is gonna have to drop down. Even more problems to deal with. Anyway, this is how much gas is in there compared to the water. The water is on the bottom, gas is on the top, so yeah, that's pretty great.
Poof.
Took me just about all day. I finally got the gas tank off out from under the car. It was a huge pain in the ass because these connections on top are really hard to get to. So that took me a few hours to do. I'm going to drain everything, clean it out, then stick it back on, and then everything, the rest of the car should be going back together and ready to run soon. That's the last thing I need to sort out, last issue that I had before I could go for the final put together of the car.